Chapter 13. Food for Plants and Animals. Ponder a while. What do plants need to eat? Do plants eat insects? Do all the animals eat the same type of food? Do you know something about food chain? Both human beings and animals are directly or indirectly dependent upon plants for their food. We get fruits, vegetables, cereals, etc. by growing plants. We get milk, eggs, and meat from animals who eat plants. But plants do not eat food like humans and animals. Their way of taking food is totally different. Food for green plants. Green plants are the only living things that have an ability to make their own food. That is why they are called autotrophs. The process by which the green plants make their food is called photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means putting together. Green plants require three things to make their food: sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. In the process of photosynthesis, leaves capture the energy of sunlight and use it to make food. Almost all the plant leaves are green because they contain a green colored pigment called chlorophyll, which helps them in absorbing the energy of sunlight. Light energy, water, minerals, sugar, carbon dioxide, oxygen. Tiny openings on the plant leaves called stomata let carbon dioxide come into the leaf while water is taken in by the plant roots. Chlorophyll, by using the sun's energy, changes the water and carbon dioxide into a sugar called glucose. Plants use this food to live and grow. The process of photosynthesis can be written as carbon dioxide plus water, sunlight, glucose plus oxygen, carbon dioxide plus water, chlorophyll, glucose plus oxygen. Let's do it. Place a piece of masking tape or aluminum foil over a small section of one leaf and place the plant in a sunny area. Within 3 days, remove the masking tape and record your observations. Carnivorous plants. There are some plants that eat insects and other small creatures in order to obtain their food. Such plants are called carnivorous or insectivorous plants. They are green plants that grow in the soil, which is very poor in minerals. Hence, they fulfill their requirement of deficient nutrition, mainly nitrogen, by eating insects. Some of them are Venus flytrap. This plant has white leaves with short, stiff hair on them called trigger. When anything touches these hair enough to bend them, the lobes of the leaves snap shut, trapping whatever is inside. Fact trivia. If the object trapped in the Venus flytrap's leaves is not food, that is torn, etc., the trap will reopen in about 12 hours and spit it out. Pitcher plant. The leaves of pitcher plants are shaped like a pitcher with half-closed lid and are filled with the sweet-smelling nectar. When an insect lands on it to suck the nectar, it slides down and falls into the liquid and thus gets trapped. Animals and their food. Animals are called consumers or heterotrophs because they depend on other living things for their food since they cannot make their own food. Animals can be classified into 5 categories on the basis of their food habits. Herbivores. Herbivores are those animals that eat only plants. Camel, buffalo, cow, goat, etc. are examples of herbivores. Carnivores. Carnivores are those animals that kill other animals and eat their flesh. Animals such as lion, tiger, eagle, snake, etc. are examples of carnivores. Omnivores. Omnivores are those animals that eat both plants and other animals. Examples of such animals are dog, monkey, bear, etc. Scavengers. Scavengers are those animals that eat flesh of dead animals. Examples of such animals are hyenas, vultures, etc. Parasites. Parasites are those animals that live on or within the body of other animals and depend on them for their food. Mosquitoes, leeches, hookworms, roundworms are some examples of parasites. Food chain and food web. Food chain. All living beings need to obtain energy in order to live. For example, plants get energy from the sun, some animals eat plants, and some animals eat other animals to get energy. A food chain shows how each living being gets food and how nutrients and energy are passed from creature to creature. Important components of food chain. The sun is usually seen at the beginning of most food chains. Nearly all of the energy used by living things to survive on the earth comes from the sun. Producers are the plants that produce their own food from sun, water, air, carbon dioxide, and soil. Consumers are the animals that consume other plants and animals. Herbivores eat only plants, while carnivores eat flesh of other animals and omnivores eat both plants and animals. Decomposers are the organisms such as fungi, bacteria, worms, etc. They feed on decaying plants and animals and decompose them back into the soil. The soil can then be used by plants to grow. Components of food chain: producers, consumers, decomposers. Food web. Many organisms eat different kind of food, therefore food chains do not occur independently in nature. The network of food chains linked together is called food web. A balance in nature is maintained between different animals and plants through food chains and food webs. Food webs show how plants and animals are connected in many ways for their food, whereas food chains follow single paths. Vocabulary cards. Chlorophyll, the green colored pigment present in the leaves of plants. Carnivorous plants, the plants that eat insects and other small creatures. Scavengers, the animals that eat flesh of dead animals. Food web, the network of food chains linked